Okay, folks, how we doing? Rich Fantastic finishing up with our game picks for now week 4 of the NFL season, and of course, recording audio for Get Live Radio. Next game, the San Francisco 49ers 0-3, 0-1 on the road. Travel to Arizona to play the Cardinals, who are 1-2, 0-1 at home. Injuries for the visiting 49ers: Carlos Hyde, running back; Jaquiski Tartt, safety; Kyle Juszczyk, fullback; Brock Coyle, linebacker, and are all questionable. Reuben Foster, the linebacker, is out. For the Arizona Cardinals, John Brown, wide receiver; J.J. Nelson, wide receiver, are questionable. Alex Boone, guard; Robert Nkemdiche, defensive tackle, are out, and Mike Iupati is an injury reserve, out. I think San Francisco found a little bit of offense against the Los Angeles Rams last Thursday when they played a week from this past game. Let's see if they can continue that. Look for Carlos Hyde to carry a big load in this game. He's just over 5 yards per carry, having a good season. He's a stalwart style player. It's unfortunate he's playing for a poor team. On the other hand, the Arizona Cardinals have not been able to find the running game since David Johnson got injured. Chris Johnson is not getting the job done. He only has 23 carries for 61 yards. Look for Andre Ellington to pick that up, and I expect him to be the runner of choice from this point forward, and frankly, it wouldn't surprise me if Chris Johnson is cut at some point. With that being said, I expect San Francisco to get the victory. They're a desperate 0-3 team. They've shown some improvement. I think Kyle Shanahan's a pretty good coach, and he's going to have some things figured out. Carson Palmer against the Dallas Cowboys last Monday night was not able to get out of his own way, meaning he was just getting sacked routinely in that game. I expect the same thing from the San Francisco 49ers. Carlos Hyde controls the clock, and the Cardinals are not going to be able to find a way to win. 49ers 20-17 over the Arizona Cardinals. The Philadelphia Eagles 2-1, 1-1 on the road, travel to Los Angeles to play the Chargers, who are 0-3, 0-2 at home. Injuries for the visiting Eagles: Destiny Viejo, defensive tackle; Jalen Watkins, safety; Corey Graham, safety, are all out. Jordan Hicks, linebacker; Rodney McLeod, safety, are questionable. For the Chargers, Melvin Gordon, running back; Seth McGrath, tight end; Joe Barksdale, offensive tackle, are questionable. Mike Williams, the wide receiver, is out. Philadelphia traveling cross-country to play the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers have been in a few games here. They've lost some tough ones. It's an 0-3 team. It's not going to be easy for the Philadelphia Eagles. They've lost a guy like Darren Sproles for the season, and especially in a game like this where you might need that third down play where a guy catches it, 5 yards short of the sticks, makes a move, gets a first down, a punt return here that changes things. That's very big in a game like this for Philly. I don't think things are going to be going their way for most of the game. I do expect the Eagles to come away with a victory, but they better be focused and not just expect that they're going to be able to handle the Chargers. I think the travel will affect them a bit. Things won't look good for the Eagles early on in this game, but they'll eventually get their footing. But again, a departure of Darren Sproles, he usually helps that. He can make those, swing plays, a punt return here or there. So that just adds a little more difficulty to the situation. But all in all, Philadelphia will come away with the victory. I like 24-17. They'll get a late touchdown to be able to put it away. The New York Giants 0-3, 0-2 on the road, travel to Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers, who are 1-1, 1-0 at home. Injuries for the visiting Giants: J.T. Thomas is an injury reserve, out. The rest are questionable. Arlene Starkwell, running back; Brett Jones, center; Jonathan Casillas, linebacker; Olivier Vernon, defensive tackle. For the Buccaneers, all questionable: Robert Ayers, defensive end; Brent Grimes, cornerback; Gerald McCoy, tight end; Noah Spence, defensive end; J.R. Sweezy, guard. This is a game for Tampa Bay. You have a team like the Giants coming in. Look, we can talk about 0-3, how unlikely it is to make the playoffs. It certainly is, but it has been done before, not for many years. This is really the Giants' last stand. 0-4, only one team has ever done it. The Pittsburgh Steelers were pretty close a few years ago. They started 0-4, finished 8-8. And were a missed field goal in one of the other games that was going on in Week 16 going through that would have allowed them to make the playoffs. So you look at 0-4, hey, it is what it is for the Giants. This is their situation. They're clearly going to come out and, just throw caution to the wind, try a lot of things, as if they didn't already do that against Philadelphia. It didn't really show until the fourth quarter. In this situation, you have the Tampa Bay team, however, that just got knocked around by the Minnesota Vikings last week. So they have a lot of expectations coming into this year, the Buccaneers, that is. They have a team like the Giants coming in. How much maturity do you have to really put a team like that down? I do think they'll get a boost, however, from being manhandled by the Minnesota Vikings last week. That certainly got their attention. Had Tampa Bay won that game against Minnesota, and especially won the game easily, I could very much see the Giants winning this game and will pick the Giants to win this game. It makes it very difficult for me to pick the Giants because of the fact that Tampa Bay got smacked around the way they did last week. They're going to have the Giants' attention in this game, or they will have the attention of the Giants, and they will have the Giants' attention. They'll not be looking past this game. So I expect Tampa Bay to get the win simply because of that. If it was any other situation, I'd be picking the Giants. But I like Tampa Bay 28-23. The Giants' offense will again start to defrost, as you saw against the Eagles. It's just not enough. The Oakland Raiders, 2-1, 1-1 on the road, travel to Denver to play the Broncos, who are 2-1, 2-0 at home. Injuries for the visiting Raiders, all questionables. Michael Crabtree, wide receiver. Garen Conley, cornerback. Keith McGill, safety. For the Denver Broncos, Cody Latimer is questionable. Now, we saw Oakland really get handled by the Washington Redskins. That was a game where they looked poor. There were some questions of things that were going on with the team. A lot of things, some turmoil. Who knows? It's all rumors, so you don't really want to go into that and all that stuff. But they have now a situation where they're playing a Denver Broncos team who also got knocked around last week by the Buffalo Bills. It wasn't as bad as the Oakland Raiders did. Buffalo was not, just completely running away with the score, where it was 27-10, not even that close. But certainly you have another team that had a bad loss going cross-country. So we'll see what happens when these two teams come back. Oakland is going into Denver. Denver is a tough place to play. So let's see how much the Raiders have and how much they've responded from that loss that they just suffered. Will that be able to give them a boost to get the win against Denver? I think it does. Remember, this is a team with high expectations this year. A lot of people think they're the only team that could really stop the Patriots in the AFC. Well, if you want to be that team, you've got to find a way to win this game after that poor showing against the Washington Redskins. I believe they do, and I believe that they get pressure on Trevor Siemian as he continues to come back down to earth following that Dallas game. 31-20, Oakland over the Denver Broncos. And then the Sunday night game, the Indianapolis Colts 1-2, 1 on the road, travel to Seattle to play the Seahawks, who are 1-2, 1-0 at home. Injuries for the visiting Colts, all listed as out. Marlon Mack, running back. Chester Rogers, wide receiver. Quincy Wilson, cornerback. Ryan Kelly, center. Anthony Walker Jr., linebacker. For the Seattle Seahawks, Dewey McDonald, linebackers, and injury reserve out. C.J. Prosise, running back, doubtful. Doug Baldwin, wide receiver, questionable. Look, we've seen what has happened with Seattle this year. With Indianapolis, that is, this year, struggling without Andrew Luck. I'd like to focus on Seattle, though, and how much they're struggling. They're not getting things done. Their offensive line is playing very poorly. They also are not really establishing a run. Now you have C.J. Prosise, who is listed as questionable. Chris Carson has begun to get it together. He's got 37 carries for 166 yards. That's a little over 4 yards per carry, so look for him to pick it up. I expect Eddie Lacy to be out of the picture, if not out of Seattle very soon. Russell Wilson, they've put a lot on him. He's been expected to make plays. He's got just shy of 50 incompletions, 49 that is, on 115 passes. Not very good. Has not thrown an interception, but certainly there's a lot that Russell Wilson is having to do, and Seattle's offense just doesn't have it. I think it's a get-right game for Seattle. You have Indianapolis coming into town. They've shown, their problems this year as well and got the win against a pretty bad Cleveland Browns team. So we'll keep an eye on that as what they have, coming into Seattle. Can they take advantage of the problems the Seahawks have? I don't see it happening. I see the Seahawks getting right in this game and coasting to a pretty easy victory. And if they don't, a win is a win, but if they don't coast to an easy victory, you've got to really start to worry about the Seattle Seahawks moving forward in this season. So that is a 34-17 victory for the Seattle Seahawks. All right, thank you all. Remember,